Hey everybody, welcome back. This is a little bit different. I'm going to do a Star Wars action figure review, but in this case, I'm going to show you a 12-inch action figure, and then I'm going to show you the 3 3/4 inch counterpart. So I'm not going to make very many of these simply because I don't have very many 12-inch action figures, but I thought this would be interesting. For all of my 12-inch action figures, I managed to find their smaller counterparts. And I thought this would just be interesting to show you a comparison. And, maybe if you are interested in buying these figures on eBay, you can find them. So let's start with this Luke on Dagobah with Yoda. And this is the 12-inch figure. So I think this is a fantastic figure. They do a good job at capturing Mark Hamill's face right here. He's wearing very faithfully the outfit he wore on Dagobah. The boots, his fatigue pants with the pockets, and his blue backpack in which Yoda traveled around with him. And this figure also includes a fully articulated Yoda with accessories, which I'll show you. He does come with his cane. And here's the Yoda right here. This an extremely detailed figure. Here's his belt, his necklace. He has full articulation. He has swivel shoulders, swivel hips, and a swivel neck. So a very articulated figure, and he has a soft goods outfit. So this is pretty impressive. Now, let's take a quick look at this again. The Luke is scene specific simply because of his hands. His hands only are good for this pose of holding his backpack straps. So this figure, you're only going to be able to pose it in the scene of him carrying Yoda on his back, holding his backpack. So that does create a limitation. And either way, I think it's still a fantastic 12-inch figure. Now, let's look at the 3 3/4 inch counterpart. Now, I already had this Yoda with the backpack. And as you can see, the backpack is quite similar to the 12-inch counterpart. Now, here's Yoda. He has a very basic articulation. Swivel neck, swivel shoulders, and swivel hips, yet his legs are not separated. However, a very impressive head sculpt, if you can see that. This is a good Yoda. Now let's take a look at the Luke here. This is, of course, from the Power of the Force line, the steroid Luke. This is the long lightsaber variant, and if you want me to explain that, let's just let's find another Power of the Force action figure. In this case, Obi-Wan Kenobi. And look at the lightsaber he came with. And compare it with this lightsaber. And as you can see, this lightsaber is nearly an inch longer. For some reason, the Power of the Force figures decided to give them incredibly long lightsabers that were not in proportion, along with incredibly large muscles that were not in proportion, and incredibly large blasters. Either way, let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging. This case, it did not come with the sticker that a lot of the Power of the Force figures came with. It was printed with the picture of Luke and Yoda. Has a nice picture of Darth Vader right here. Okay. On the back, there's a card that you presumably could cut out if you wanted to that has facts about Luke Skywalker. His height being 1.72 meters, status pilot and Jedi in training, classification human, affiliation Rebel Alliance, weapon of choice lightsaber or blaster pistol, vehicle of choice T-65B X-Wing fighter. I don't think you're going to be able to see that clearly enough to read it. There's a very long story here about Luke and Yoda. I kind of hesitate to read it just because it's so long, and I don't want to slow down the review. And here's a picture of some of the other vehicles and figures you can get from the original Power of the Force line. and an ad to join the official Star Wars fan club. Call 1-800-TRUE-FAN today, and your proof of purchase. So I'm going to do the unthinkable. I'm going to open this some almost vintage figure, so I can complete my Luke and Yoda set here. So here goes. Alright. This is because the tape is already yellowed around his blaster, if you can see that. And let's pull out his incredibly long lightsaber. Okay, now here's the Luke. The basic old Kenner Power of the Force articulation with his huge muscles. Incredibly unrealistic body. He has a swivel neck, swivel shoulders, swivel waist, and swivel hips. Let's compare him to the 12-inch figure. Okay. Head sculpt doesn't look very much like Mark Hamill, but he kind of, in a generic sort of way, does. It's hard to explain. Let's go ahead and slip this backpack on now. Okay. Now, I know some of you are probably cringing that I opened this figure up, but I can assure you that I will never open any of my 1980s Star Wars figures. But Power of the Force figures are pretty easy to come by still. Now, I can already tell you so far, this is not working out very well. I can't get the snaps to fasten here. Let me work at this here. Okay, I think that one's in. Let's lift his arm up. Definitely. Okay, I think I got it. Okay. Alright. Let's get Yoda snug in there. Actually, to make it right, Yoda really needs to be facing Luke like this. But he doesn't fit very well like that, but I want this to be correct. Okay, well, here we have it. Here's a 3 3/4 inch. Let's go ahead and give him this ridiculously large blaster and lightsaber. Oh my goodness, that lightsaber is long. That's like a pike. Look at that thing. That's unbelievable. Once again, let's just compare it to Obi-Wan's lightsaber. You see that? That's unreal. Okay, yeah. There was some of you probably know that with the Power of the Force line, there was a variant with incredibly long lightsabers, and this is one of them. So there you have it. Now I have my my 12-inch and my 3/4 inch. Let's put them all together so we can have a final comparison. And okay. Here's the final comparison. The only thing that's missing is Yoda doesn't have a cane. Fortunately, in my accessory bag, I have an extra Yoda cane that I'm just going to give to him, because I think Yoda needs a cane. And I'm just going to go ahead and set it right in here. Okay, perfect. Alright, so there we have it. The 3 3/4 inch and the 12-inch. So I hope you enjoyed this review, and I will probably have 3 more like this. I don't think I'm going to be buying any more 12-inch figures, but I have 3 more to compare. So if you like these, tune in again. Please comment, subscribe, and subscribe to my friends. Bye now.